A rebuttal to this claim must address the broad generalization and emotional rhetoric while providing a fact-based perspective on Republican leadership. Rebuttal: a more nuanced view of Republican leadership. Your statement paints Republican presidents in an overly simplistic and negative light without accounting for their policies, leadership successes, and the broader context of their presidencies. Let's analyze this claim with a historical perspective. 1. Republican presidents and economic growth. Under Ronald Reagan, the economy saw one of the most significant recoveries in modern history after the disastrous Carter years, which were plagued by high inflation and stagnation. Reagan's policies, including tax cuts, deregulation, and strong foreign policy, contributed to the longest peacetime expansion in American history at the time. Even Bill Clinton later admitted that the era of big government is over, recognizing the effectiveness of Reagan's fiscal conservatism. George W. Bush, while criticized for his handling of certain crises, presided over an economic expansion from 2001 to 2007 despite inheriting a recession. His tax cuts stimulated economic growth, and he took decisive action after 9/11 to prevent further attacks on American soil. Donald Trump oversaw a booming economy with historically low unemployment rates, especially among African Americans, Hispanics, and women, before the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted global markets. His policies on deregulation and tax reform led to significant job growth. 2. Republican leadership in foreign policy. Eisenhower and Ford were fine presidents, but dismissing all other Republican leaders as rotten lowlifes ignores key achievements in foreign policy. Nixon. While controversial for Watergate, his diplomacy opened relations with China, a move that fundamentally altered global geopolitics. He also ended U.S. involvement in Vietnam. Reagan. His leadership helped bring an end to the Cold War, standing firm against the Soviet Union with policies that ultimately led to the collapse of communism in Eastern Europe. George H.W. Bush. His leadership in the Gulf War demonstrated a clear and effective military strategy that secured victory with minimal U.S. casualties while maintaining global alliances. Trump. He brokered historic Middle East peace agreements, the Abraham Accords, and pursued an America First policy that strengthened the U.S. economy and military. 3. The failures of Democrat leadership. If one wants to critique Republican presidents, it's only fair to apply the same scrutiny to Democrats. Under Carter, inflation soared, gas prices skyrocketed, and America's standing on the world stage weakened significantly. Under Obama, we saw the weakest post-recession recovery in modern history, massive government expansion, and foreign policy blunders such as the withdrawal from Iraq, which led to the rise of ISIS. Biden's policies have resulted in skyrocketing inflation, energy dependency, open border chaos, and an embarrassing foreign policy retreat in Afghanistan. 4. The myth that Republicans dragged the country down. The assertion that Republican presidents dragged the country down is not supported by facts. In many cases, Republican policies led to economic prosperity, military strength, and restored national confidence. Democratic administrations, on the other hand, have often been characterized by economic stagnation, appeasement abroad, and expanding government overreach that undermines personal liberty. Conclusion. Not every Republican president was perfect, just as not every Democrat president was a disaster. However, dismissing decades of Republican leadership with an emotional generalization ignores the complex reality of governance. The truth is, conservative principles of limited government, strong national defense, and economic freedom have consistently provided better results for America than the alternative.